Right now, without you knowing, your body is already fighting a war. And you didn't even get a tutorial. Most people think getting sick is bad luck. It's not. It's what happens when your defense build is running on default settings. Here's the controversial part. Your immune system doesn't always lose to a virus. Sometimes it loses to you. Everything you eat, sleep, skip, or scroll through at 2 a.m., it all quietly edits your defense stats in real time. Today, we are opening the full game menu. Viral invasion, immune response, fever mechanics, all of it. Let's run the dungeon. Here's what nobody tells you. The average human catches 2 to 4 viral infections every single year. That's 4 boss fights, ready or not. And most players go into those fights completely blind. No strategy, no gear check, no idea what's actually happening inside their own body. When you ignore your immune system, you are essentially playing a hardcore survival game on max difficulty with a level 1 character. Sleep deprivation alone drops your immune effectiveness by up to 70%. That's not a debuff, that's a full stat wipe. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Experimental Medicine, think of it as an official developer patch note. Chronic stress physically shrinks your immune cell count. Ending confirmed. That means every time you grind without rest, you're literally unequipping armor. The boss fight starts and your health bar is already half empty. And here's where the stakes get real. Viruses don't knock on the door, they don't announce the raid, they just enter. So the only variable you can actually control is how prepared your server is when they arrive. Let's break down exactly how that works. Think of your body as an MMORPG server. Trillions of cells, each with a specific role, running constantly in the background, even on idle. Your skin? That's the outer castle wall. 3 layers of tightly packed cells forming the most underrated piece of armor in the game. Your nose and throat are lined with mucus, but think of it as a sticky trap zone. The virus lands on your mucous membrane. Some particles get caught, but some get through. The raid has officially begun. Now, a virus, let's call it the boss, is microscopic. Up to 100 times smaller than a single human cell. Small doesn't mean weak. Viruses travel in droplets, on surfaces, even suspended in air. They're not alive in the traditional sense. They're more like a corrupted game file. A corrupted file with one singular objective. Find a host cell, hijack its machinery, and replicate. The virus finds a host cell, maybe in your throat, your lungs, and docks onto a receptor. Think of it as finding the right USB port. It injects its genetic code, RNA, directly into your cell. Your cell now reads that code and starts manufacturing copies of the virus. Your own factory, hijacked. One infected cell can produce thousands of viral copies. Each one bursts out and finds a new host cell. This is the viral replication loop, and it compounds fast. This is the enemy's real power. Exponential scaling. It's not about raw strength, it's about speed. Every second you don't respond, the raid party gets bigger. But here's where your body's defense system fires up. And it is, without question, the most sophisticated counter build ever designed. First responders on the scene. The innate immune system. These are your basic NPCs, always patrolling, no specific training, but they react instantly. Chief among them, macrophages. Picture a giant aggressive tank character that roams your tissue and literally eats invaders. That's actually its job. It's called phagocytosis. The macrophage detects the virus, engulfs it, and destroys it. But more importantly, it sends out a signal, an alert to the whole server. Boss is here. All units respond. That signal comes in the form of chemical messengers called cytokines. Think of cytokines as the in-game chat system, broadcasting a server-wide emergency notification. The cytokine broadcast triggers inflammation. Blood vessels widen, more immune cells flood into the area. It looks like damage. It is actually deployment. Now, here's the first surprising insight that most people get completely wrong. Inflammation is not the enemy. Inflammation is your body calling in the raid squad. Suppressing all inflammation with medication at the first sign of sickness can actually slow down your immune response. You're kicking the raid squad out before they finish the job. Game lore. A 2020 paper in Nature Immunology confirmed that early inflammatory signals are essential for triggering the adaptive immune response. Skip that phase, and the boss levels up. So the innate system buys time. It holds the line. But it doesn't have the tools to finish the fight alone. That's where the second system wakes up. The adaptive immune system. This is your specialized guild. High-level trained characters who take longer to deploy. But when they arrive, they are built specifically to counter this boss. The key players, B cells and T cells. 2 classes. Completely different roles. Think of them as your mage and your assassin. One attacks from a distance, one goes in close. B cells are the mage class. They analyze the virus's unique protein signature, its armor pattern, and manufacture a custom weapon designed to lock onto it specifically. That weapon is called an antibody. An antibody is essentially a precision-crafted key that fits only one lock to the surface protein of that exact virus. It tags the enemy for destruction, flagging it for the rest of the team. T cells are the assassin class, specifically killer T cells. They don't just attack the virus, they find and execute any cell in your own body that's been compromised. Infected cells get terminated. Cold? Yes. Necessary? Absolutely. It's a calculated sacrifice, cutting off the virus's production facilities before the replication loop gets completely out of control. But here's something the tutorial never mentions. Building those custom antibodies takes time, usually 3 to 7 days. That's why you feel terrible before you feel better. That window, days 2 through 5, is the most critical phase of the fight. Your innate system is stalling. Your adaptive system is still crafting its weapons. You're in the loading screen. And this is exactly when most players make their worst mistake. They try to power through. No rest, no hydration, back to grinding. That decision actively delays the weapon crafting process. Sleep is not downtime. Sleep is when your body runs its highest priority background processes, including immune cell production and antibody synthesis. Skipping sleep is skipping the crafting queue. Developer patch note: a landmark study by UC San Francisco found that people sleeping under 6 hours were 4 times more likely to catch a cold when directly exposed to the rhinovirus. 4 times. 4 times more likely to fail the boss fight just because of one consistently bad stat. That's not a minor debuff, that's a difficulty multiplier you're applying to yourself. Now let's talk about the mechanic everyone misunderstands. Fever. Most players see a fever and immediately try to shut it down. That instinct is understandable and mostly wrong. Fever is not a glitch. Fever is a deliberate server-side adjustment. Your hypothalamus, the game's temperature controller, manually overclocks your body's operating heat. Why? Because most viruses are optimized to replicate at your normal 37 degrees Celsius. Raise the temperature to 38.5 or 39, and their replication efficiency drops dramatically. You're crashing their build. At the same time, heat speeds up your own immune cell movement. White blood cells literally travel faster in a warmer environment. You're nerfing the boss while buffing your own squad simultaneously. Here's the second surprising insight. Aggressively suppressing a mild fever with medication can actually extend the duration of your illness. You're turning off your own most powerful area of effect ability. Important caveat. And the developers are very clear on this. Fever above 39.5 degrees Celsius or any fever in infants is a medical emergency. That's not a buff anymore. That's server overload. Back to the battlefield. By day 4 or 5, if your immune system is properly resourced, the antibodies are ready. T cells start mass producing them. The tide turns. Antibodies flood the bloodstream, taking every viral particle they encounter. Killer T cells execute infected cells. Macrophages clean up the debris. The boss's health bar starts dropping. And here's where your genetics, your base stats, come into play. Some players are born with naturally higher immune response speed. Their adaptive system activates faster, crafts antibodies more efficiently. That's not unfair. That's just the base stat distribution at character creation. What matters is how you build on top of those stats with your lifestyle choices. Vitamin D, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids function as passive skill upgrades. They don't fight the virus directly, but they significantly improve the efficiency of every immune cell on the field. Same lore. A meta-analysis published in the BMJ covering over 11,000 patients confirmed that vitamin D supplementation reduced the risk of acute respiratory infections, particularly in players who were already deficient. That's 11,000 data points telling you that a simple passive item available at any pharmacy measurably upgrades your baseline defense stats. The patch notes don't lie. Third surprising insight incoming. Your gut is running a secret immune headquarters. 70% of your entire immune system is located in your gastrointestinal tract. 70%. The trillions of bacteria living in your gut, your microbiome, are in constant communication with your immune cells. They are not passengers. They are co-developers of your entire defense architecture. A disrupted microbiome from poor diet, antibiotics overuse, or chronic stress doesn't just affect digestion. It directly degrades your immune system's response time and accuracy. Your whole server slows down. So here's the ultimate boss fight strategy guide. The full breakdown of how to actually win this encounter, not just survive it. Step 1. Don't weaken your own defenses before the fight. Consistent sleep, hydration, and whole food nutrition are not wellness trends. They are your pre-raid gear check. Step 2. When symptoms appear, don't fight your own immune system. Rest is not weakness, it's resource allocation. Your body is running a massive process. Let it run. Step 3. Understand the difference between symptoms that are your immune system working, like a mild fever or fatigue, and symptoms that signal the boss has overwhelmed your defenses entirely. Difficulty breathing, chest pain, fever above 39.5 degrees, or symptoms that rapidly deteriorate. Those are your game over warning screens. That's when you call in external support. See a doctor. Step 4. Vaccines. If a boss has already been defeated in a previous server event, your body stores the antibody blueprint permanently. Vaccines hand you that blueprint before the boss even spawns. That's not cheating, that's memory cells. A specialized unit your adaptive immune system creates after every fight, holding the exact counter build for every enemy you've ever defeated. The scientific term is immunological memory. The gaming term is you already have the boss guide, the gear set, and the strategy before the fight even loads. That's an unbeatable advantage. So what do you actually do with all of this? You stop treating your body like a character you're playing and start treating it like a character you're building. There's a massive difference. Playing is reactive. You respond when things go wrong. Building is proactive. You optimize your stats, equip your passives, and show up to every boss fight already prepared. One actionable move you can make today: check your vitamin D levels. Most people living in northern latitudes or spending most of the day indoors are running this passive at 0. Another move: audit your sleep, not just duration, quality. A consistent sleep schedule synchronizes your immune system's daily patrol cycles. Irregular sleep breaks the patrol route and the gut. Add one fermented food to your daily intake: yogurt, kefir, kimchi. Any of these, feed your microbiome and keep that hidden immune headquarters running at full capacity. These aren't dramatic life overhauls, they're minor stat adjustments. But in a game where the boss spawns without warning, small optimizations compound into the difference between a quick fight and a 10-day wipe. Because here's what we've established today: your immune system is not passive protection, it's an active, intelligent, layered defense architecture, and you are its lead developer. Every choice you make, every meal, every hour of sleep, every skipped recovery day writes a line of code into that architecture. You're always patching. The question is whether you're patching up or down. Next time a virus tries to spawn in your server, it's going to run directly into a fully optimized, well-rested, properly staffed immune system. That boss fight ends in under a week. Guaranteed. If you want to keep leveling up your biological game knowledge, subscribe. Join the player base. New boss fights drop every week, and trust me, you want to be prepared for what's coming next.